Elevado Paso. We have a great show lined up for you today. We've been out and about all city trying to find you the best examples of leadership, examples of good role models, and just overall good advice that we could bring to you. Make sure you guys stick around, but for now, we're about to go in and speak with Uriel Posada. Uriel Posada has been the news director for Channel 26 for over 20 years now. This guy's been a great role model in the business industry, in the news industry. He's been one of the most consistent figures in this scene, in this industry. Uriel has a great example to give us all. He's been a great example of persistence, of determination, of having that goal and not giving up. Please stick around. We're about to go in there, speak with him for a few minutes, and see what advice he will give us. I hope you enjoy it. Uriel, how are you?
Fine, thanks for coming.
Thank you for having us. Uriel, we have seen your career develop at a great speed, and we've seen you as a role model in our community. We're hoping we get a chance to have you talk to us a little bit about what you've done and that spirit of determination to get to where you are now.
Well, again, thanks for coming, Caleb. And I don't know if it's a great speed. It has taken me 20 years, actually,
well,
to be a news director at Univision. I graduated from UTEP in 1998, actually, and I started a career a little bit before I graduated. So it's been a while. I've been around, so it's been a great ride, actually.
And in those 20 years, there must have been a moment when you felt like you just had to give up. You just had to rethink everything. What allows you to keep determined, to stay focused on your goal? How do you work that in?
Well, I love what I do. And I think that's one of my main focuses, my love for the career, my love for journalism, my love for being part of that community, to be able to, because I do have a platform now. I do have a megaphone. And my voice, I don't know how much, but it is heard. And I realized that very early in my career that we journalists, especially if you're a news director, for example, you do have a place in the community, and you can really help a little bit in certain situations. So that is what keeps me focused,
And as advice for our audience, to stay focused, what you're saying is that you need to be able to love what you do and go for the passion of the career, not so much the paycheck of the career.
That's what I tell my co-workers. A lot of the times I do have jobs, positions open within my department. Some of the positions, for example, pay more than others, and especially young people, especially millennials. They're very driven, and sometimes they're very driven, but that drive is sometimes propelled by money. And I tell them, if you're gonna do this because of the money, you're gonna be unhappy.
Yes, without a doubt. So your suggestion is for them to stay focused on their passion. Mm-hmm. How is it that someone could find their passion when they still feel like they're a little lost, they're just kind of getting out of school? What do you suggest they start out doing or looking where?
I will tell them, or I will tell someone just to see and project how they see him or herself in 10 years. If they see themselves doing that far in advance, then that's something that you're doing in a good path, actually. If you see that this is going to be boring in a couple of years, well, maybe this is not it, actually.
And without a doubt, it has to be something that you keep redefining in regards to where or how far you want to take it. When you see yourself as a news director, I'm sure the fact that you have that voice in the community was a great factor of aiming here. Is there further plans of advancing? Where do you see yourself in 10 years?
I don't know. In 10 years, I'll be 55, more or less. So I really don't know.
It's still young.
But you do have to redefine, and you do have to reinvent yourself every once in a while. You cannot be just stuck here and not do anything. I see myself working in a bigger market, actually. doing what I love, and maybe putting in practice what I've learned in these past 20 years, and giving my knowledge to other people in a bigger market, actually.
That's a wonderful thing to aspire to. Uriel, you have been in our community as part of our everyday business, so one of those icons that we usually see involved in our industry. Tell me what it is that anyone could take away with from your experience working in El Paso. What advice can you give anyone who's just starting out in this industry?
Well, if it's a student, for example, and just about to graduate, and one of the things that I tell our intern is, get the experience before you graduate, because that's an important aspect to have. Every time that I hire newly grads, the first question that I ask them is, what have you done?
Yeah.
As far as experience in the TV industry, for example, a lot of them wait until the last semester to get the experience, and that's not precisely how we work. I, for example, started in KTIP doing a graveyard shift. I was editing in KTIP. I did 3 internships, actually, one in Channel 4, Channel 9, and here in Channel 26. So it takes a lot to become a journalist and to really advance in that career.
So persistence, determination, and love for what you do.
Yeah, that's basically it.
Uriel, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks so much for coming again.
I appreciate you.
Thank you.
We have made our way down with Freddy Klayel, Avalos, and we are going to be speaking about a little bit of leadership. Freddy, how are you, brother?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Freddy, last time we were with you, we spoke about how it is that these kids don't really have a sense of what it takes to make it. They see all these figures, they want to go for the big brands, but don't have a foundation. As a prominent figure in the community, what can anyone do to impart this to them and get them to the point where they are developing themselves as opposed to feeling that they deserve it?
That's a really good question. And the first thing that comes to mind is look at your mentors. See where your mentors are, and if you like where they are, then follow the same path. If you feel that your mentor is not where they could be, learn from their mistakes. I still think mentorship is a huge part. For example, people need to know that they can do it, right? So if your mentor is your dad or your mom or your grandmother or your grandfather, that's great. But you need to also reach out to people that are outside of your comfort zone. For a high school kid or a kid in middle school, they're not going to be able to do that. So it's their teachers, right? And the teachers have to impart that. It's a symbiotic relationship. I think the teachers have to be willing to say, well, if you want to do that, this is the career path, and put them on at least on a road they can follow.
Now, I believe there's a misconception between having admiration for a popular figure, a pop culture figure, and actually having somebody as a mentor. What could be some sort of guide for these kids when it comes to choosing their mentor?
That's a really good point. Because growing up, everyone our age liked Michael Jordan, right? But there's no way Michael Jordan's going to come to our house and give us advice. But I think mentors and students choose each other. I think it happens naturally. I think it happens in school. We always have that one teacher that likes you, and you like them. There's a special connection. So that's obviously the most natural, organic way to find it. Now, there's also other ways to find them. For example, my son plays soccer. And besides the soccer team and his coaches, I wanted him to have an outside view of his technique and his skills. So I got him in touch with a private tutor, so to speak. And they become a mentor-student relationship because of, one, his mutual interest to teach, my son's willingness to learn. So with students, I think you have to let them know, if you are interested in this, would you be interested in learning from that person? I think you have to ask. I don't think, you have to say, if you want to be like Cristiano or Messi, here's a person that might help you get there. It's not by watching them or by dressing like them that you're going to get there. So does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
And I believe that when it comes down to bringing down to the actual studying, that's a lot of where these kids are missing out. They kind of just want to get the end result. So that fermentation of thought when they're young, as parents, how do we start instilling that in them?
First, I think we have to get to know them.
Good point.
You know, we think we know our kids, and we've disconnected ourselves from the world, and we're more connected to our phone than we are our own families at times. I think, you know, even when we're eating dinner, we're on the phone, we're reading news, or we're on Twitter or Facebook, whatever, and it's going to have to come back down. Do I know my child? And not only do I not know them, but do I actually have their best interests at heart? And so that's going to take communication, and that changes. You know, when they're teenagers, they're going to do what they want to do. But I think there's a way to understand what they're really feeling and what they really want without having to intrude or violate their space, because they're very, you know, so conscious of the amount of space we give them now. But again, I think be willing to get on their level, think like how you were when you were 12 or 13 or 11 or whatever, and realize, well, if he tells me that he really likes football, is it that he wants to be an NFL player, or is it that he's interested in competition, or is his personality geared towards team sports, or is it geared towards physical contact sports? And that's how you kind of start to figure it out for them. Because obviously they tell you they want to be in the Cowboys. We know the likelihood of that is not very high, but the intent, what is the intent behind that? It could mean that they want to work in a team setting, or maybe that means they want to be part of a social working team, for example, or a legal team, you know what I mean? So that's how you start narrowing down their potential. I think that's our job, is to narrow down their potential.
And I definitely agree, Freddy. Now let's shift a little bit. As parents, there is that essence of always wanting to come across as the most perfect possible. And I believe there's a little bit of hesitation to be fully honest on where our faults are. More than likely forgetting that our kids are the first to know all our faults. How is it that as parents we're able to keep that balance of being open to them and letting them see our humanity?
I'm guilty of what you just said. Right? I want my kids to have a very best example of me. And does that mean that I avoid showing them weakness per se? Yeah, it does mean that, because I want them to have a very good example. But it doesn't mean that I'm going to show them an example of toxic masculinity, for example. It just means that I give them an aspiration. So I'll give you an example. Love. It takes something very, very special for it to work, and it's not science. It's dedication and work. My kids see that my wife and I are having an argument, and instead of yelling at each other, if we're willing to work it out, that's a positive example for them, because they see that love takes work. At the same time, they see that we're imperfect people that still have arguments and discussions that need to reconcile our differences.
And that is exactly the motto of this show. We are imperfect people. We aren't perfect, but we are perfectible. Thank you, Freddy, so much for your advice. We'll see you in another week.
Thank you.
Tadeo, how are you?
I'm doing very well, Caleb.
Brother, I hear you have a great project coming up in the city, that you're looking into the production industry, and I'm hoping you could tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, of course. Well, my name is Tadeo Garcia. I run Luna Soleil Studios along with Leslie Lanier. We're business partners. We're a small production studio here in El Paso, and that's where we are at the moment. But the larger project that we're working on right now is we're looking to bring an entertainment chamber of commerce here to El Paso. And we're working on that project with KMP Entertainment. And an entertainment chamber of commerce is generally a more specific scope than what you would normally expect from a chamber of commerce. But what we're trying to do is we're trying to raise the industry for entertainment here in El Paso. So we're looking for businesses or individuals that are involved in entertainment. Well, in 5 to 10 years, I would like El Paso to be a larger entertainment center in the US. So currently in the Southwest specifically, when a lot of stuff is filmed, it's filmed in New Mexico, but right next door. There's a lot of successful studios in Albuquerque. I would like to see some of that success here in El Paso. I would like to have local musicians. I would like to have local studios. I would like to have larger studios out from LA bring their projects over here.
And if they want to get a hold of you?
If they want to get a hold of us, our email is lunasoleilstudios@gmail.com. lunasoleilstudios, lunasoleilstudios.com is our website. And we also have a YouTube and a Facebook. You can find us on a lot of different locations.
We look forward to seeing all your projects flourish, and we'll follow up with you and Leslie in this coming week.
Visit Glow and Tanning Boutique for your highest experience in luxury tanning and the latest technology in town. Glow Tanning and Boutique, 2106 Zaragoza.
All right, guys, welcome back to Elevate El Paso. We have somebody who is very quickly becoming an El Paso legend. We have come to Fitness First to talk to Katie McClaren. How are you, Katie?
I am good. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. Katie has achieved something that no El Pasoan has achieved before. She actually just got awarded the 2019 Arnold competition, right?
Arnold Amateur,
And there you go. And therefore, we're here to talk to you a little bit about that. Tell us, Katie, what was that experience like?
It was amazing. It was a ton of fun. It's a huge competition, over 50,000 people just attending. So it was quite a rush.
I bet. And how long did it take you to get to the point where you felt like you were ready for that?
Honestly, this past prep, I felt much better than ever before. My husband trained me. I felt like I had more control over everything. Just everything felt well. I mean, everything fell into place this time.
Now, you said you were in the amateur competition,
Yes.
but winning it makes you a pro now, right?
Yes, because I won the overall at the Arnold. I am now an IFBB pro.
Well, again, allow me to congratulate you on that.
Thank
You make El Paso look great.
Thank you.
And on that note, we've actually managed to get Katie to come on the show once a month, and she's going to be speaking with us, giving us different tips on how we could elevate our body, and also issuing a 30-day challenge where we'll be able to be keeping up with you guys and get a reward from it, get an award from it. You guys will be giving out
We'll be offering different things, maybe like a couple of free training sessions so you can come try it out. Little awards here and there like that.
So what you're telling me is that if I do your 30-day challenge, win, get a couple of sessions, I'll be looking ready for Arnold, or?
Well, we'll be on our way.
How long do you think it takes to get to a point where you could go out and compete if somebody has a good regimen and a good diet?
If you're committed, we normally say between 16 and 20 weeks, just to make sure. I mean, it depends on your starting point, of course. But the more committed you are, the less time you would need.
So she says about a year for me. Now, in regards to bringing that back to El Paso, is this something that we're gonna continue to pursue?
Oh, absolutely. So because I won the Arnold Amateur, I'm automatically invited back next year to compete in the pro show. So my husband and I have decided to take this year to make sure that I look like I belong on that pro stage.
And what are the first things you're doing to get to that point?
Well, I mean, the first thing that everybody wants to do is binge right after a competition, so we are not doing that. We are staying on track, on point, just diet, exercise, just making sure everything is on point for next year.
Excellent. Katie, before we go, is there any words of advice you could give our audience when they're just trying to get started? Something as simple as getting out and walking around a good start?
Absolutely. I mean, just get out and move is the main thing. And hiring a coach always helps because, I might think I know what I'm doing but when it's yourself, you're a little bit more lenient. Whereas if you have that outside eye on you, it makes you a little more focused and keeps you on track a little bit better.
Katie, thank you so much for being with us. I look forward to all these challenges we're going to be putting on. Before we go, is there a phone number they could get a hold of you?
Sure. My phone number is 915-248-6022. And you can also reach us at thefitmac@gmail.com.
There you go. Stick around, guys. We have much more coming for you. Neorah, how are you?
Fine, how are you?
I'm doing well. I hear you're doing great work in regards to drum circles. Tell us a little bit about that. Tell us how you got started.
Okay, first of all, I call it drumming with the elders. I don't use the word elderly because that means we're feeble, and actually the word elder is more honoring. I started drum circles, maybe 5 or 6 years ago, and I started just with women's healing drum circle. And last year, I started doing drum circles here at Royal Estates.
Have you noticed an impact in their lives? Have you noticed an impact in their mood when you come in and do this?
Sure. When a lot of times, like the first drum circle I had here last year, people were kind of apprehensive, kind of like, I don't know how to play an instrument, I don't know how to drum. But after a few minutes, after we started, everybody was enjoying themselves and having a good time. They realized that drumming is something that's within us. The benefit of drumming, especially when we get older, is that it helps build community. It helps us connect with ourselves and with others. Also, cognitively, it helps to enhance memory, short-term memory, following cues. When we get older, some people get dementia, Alzheimer's, or other forms of dementia. And the parts of the brain that store music is the last thing affected by Alzheimer's. That kind of memory is called procedural memory. So learning an instrument, learning music, learning the words to a song, all of that is part of procedural memory. And those memories stay with us forever, for a long time. It's like tying your shoes, playing an instrument, singing, knowing the words to your favorite song, even 40 years after you've heard it. Episodic memory is the parts of the brain that are affected mostly by Alzheimer's. The parts that store episodic memory. Episodic memory is memory that, like remembering what you ate for breakfast, remembering if you even had breakfast, did I take my pills? That's episodic memory. Everyday events, and those memories are destroyed with Alzheimer's early on. So when you have patients or members of the drum circle with dementia, the music wakes them up. It connects parts of the brain that have been asleep, and it wakes them back up. It can also bring back memories. Drumming also connects all parts of the brain. So there's more connections, there's more brain connections being made. And they say that drumming actually can help brain plasticity, which is making new connections within the brain. People also to enhance or to maintain fine and gross motor skills, whether you're drumming or using a hand shaker, you're using fine and gross motor skills for that as well. Well, music is healing. Music is great for stress relief. It relieves anxiety. It's great for if you suffer chronic pain, if you are feeling kind of blue, pick up a drum or play your music, your favorite playlist. Even making a playlist of music helps.
Have you noticed that music transcends the physical?
Yes, music can unlock memories, and it can be. I've had some of my people in a drum circle. I did a drum circle in a nursing home in the Northeast last year. And one lady just got up and she just started dancing. And she, that's part of procedural memory, all the dancing, because she used to dance when she was younger. And that made her so joyful. I mean, she just was so happy. And everybody else was happy because she was happy. Music is very spiritual. The first thing we hear when we're inside our mother's womb is the heartbeat. And it's beyond, it's primordial. The rhythm of the drum is primordial, it's within us. Just to see the joy and the connection being made with others, that's what I get out of it. It makes me feel great also. So
now, for all those out there, what would be some words of advice for them?
Music. Increase your quality of life. Get together with people and do music together. That crosses cultural barriers as well. So put the phones down, put your iPads down, get a guitar, take guitar lessons, form a drum circle, amongst your friends. Get together once a week and jam. You know, whether it's a drum circle, guitars, or just listening to music together. Do it.
Neorah, thank you so much for having us. I hope you allow us to come back and visit and see how your new projects are coming along.
Thank you.
Life is short. That's the saying that we've all heard before. But have you ever wondered what it really means? We all hear it, and we all think, why would someone need to know why life is short? We all tend to get stuck in our heads sometimes, and we end up overthinking about many things, like all the things that could go wrong, or the past, the future, what's gonna happen, or because I did this, this is gonna happen, and we end up letting life just go right past us. You could be at a trip, and you're supposed to be having fun, but instead you're filling your head with all these thoughts of things that you end up not even having fun because you're just distracted. Overthinking isn't something that we can just go to. Sometimes it's good because you do need to figure things out, and having some time for yourself and your thoughts is what's needed sometimes. But you need to learn how to control it. If you're supposed to be having a good time and you're just constantly stressing about everything, then everything just gets ruined. Life has everything planned out. So you need to just have that in your mind and realize what happens, happens. You need to focus on the present and take that risk. Live in the moment. If you never take that risk, then you never know what's gonna happen. You could have an amazing voice, but never sing in choir. You can have a great opinion, but never speak your mind. You need to learn how to just go for it and live your life. Many people look back and wish they had done more, or wish they had taken that risk, or wish they had just enjoyed what they were doing, but instead they never took the risk, or they were stuck in their mind. Look back at life and be proud of yourself for enjoying the moment, for getting out of your head and doing it, for taking that risk. Don't overthink everything. Just live your life. This is Kersten, Lara with Elevator Paso 2.